Good day, everyone, and this is the 87th day of daily uploads from the show Too Long Didn't Scroll, the show for you to get your daily news fix without the hassle of scrolling through an endless seeming newsfeed every day and having to click on every individual news story. Every day, a new episode is uploaded with a quick summary of the previous day's news events, so you don't have to let getting the news every day be one of the most time-consuming parts of your morning.
Tonight,
we start off the events of April the 16th of 2023 in the country of Sudan. If you remember from the previous day's episode, the forces of the ruling Sudanese military junta and the paramilitary group called the Rapid Support Forces, or RSF, are now locked in conflict with one another after the RSF called for a nationwide mobilization on the 13th. The RSF was originally aligned with the previous Sudanese government, having been created as an additional force to assist in the war in Darfur. The RSF, however, later participated in the military coup that overturned Sudan's transition to democracy in 2021. The RSF's leader, Mohamed Hamdad Dagalo, later stated that he regrets the army's involvement in the coup and still supports Sudan's transition to democracy. Relations between the junta and the RSF proceeded to deteriorate after RSF was attempted to be integrated into the military. Tensions came to a head on the 13th with the RSF's mobilization and the outbreak of full-scale nationwide violence on the 15th, when fighting broke out at military camps, the Khartoum International Airport, and the Presidential Palace. As of the day of recording, the Sudanese junta military has claimed that the Presidential Palace and other administrative centers throughout Khartoum have been retaken, while the international airport still remains under RSF control. As of this day, around 97 civilians have been killed and around 365 have been injured as a result of the chaos. Smoke now clouds the skies of the Khartoum, and attempts at ceasefires have failed or been ignored. In the country of Syria, we center in on a country ravaged by civil wars since 2011. The main factions in the war include forces aligned with the internationally recognized government, the Syrian Arab Republic, like Russia and Iran, and forces aligned with the insurgent Syrian interim government and Syrian National Army, like Turkey, as well as the autonomous administration of North and East Syria supported by much of the East-Western world. Factions like the Islamic State, or ISIS, and al-Qaeda have also participated. Violence against civilians, especially by ISIS and al-Qaeda, has been a hallmark of this bloody war, exemplified by an incident this day when a group of truffle hunters were attacked by what was reported to be ISIS members east of the city of Hama, the Hama Governorate. 26 to 36 members of that group were brutally killed. Meanwhile, near the city of Deir ez-Zor, 5 shepherds, as well as over 200 of their sheep, were also killed by ISIS militants in a similar fashion, while 2 of them were also abducted. The African nation of Burkina Faso has been dealing with a jihadist insurgency of its own, as insurgents aligned with the terrorist militant groups ISIS and al-Qaeda wreak havoc across the country and clash with government forces. As of the day of recording, Burkina Faso's forces have sustained a blow today in the form of an attack by insurgent forces on a group of soldiers in the northern region of Wahiguya. During the attack, around 40 soldiers, including civilian volunteers, were killed, and 33 others were wounded while on security patrol on the local airfield. Though Burkina Faso has stated they managed to kill several terrorists in the attack as well. The current conflict in the nation has left around 10,000 dead and over 2 million displaced. We now concern ourselves with relations between the nations of Russia and China. China has come under fire in these past couple years for accusations of attempting to align itself within Russia's sphere of influence and help to exonerate some of its actions in its widely considered illegal invasion of Ukraine, especially through its peace talks. As of the day of recording, it appears Russia and China appear to be continuing to court each other in terms of diplomatic relations, with a visit by Chinese Defense Minister Li Shangfu to Russian President Vladimir Putin and Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu, as part of Li's first international visit since his appointment back in March. During the meeting, Putin reaffirmed and praised the development of relations between the two countries, while Li stated that the relations between the two, quote-unquote, outperformed those of the Cold War era. He also stated that China's position on the Russo-Ukrainian War continues to ostensibly rest on the standpoint of neutrality. In the European country of the Czech Republic, or Czechia, the country's populace has been feeling the effects of inflation particularly hard. While the increase in inflation rates in the country has been on a slight decline the past few months, 15% is still no laughing matter. As such, dissatisfaction with the current Czech government has culminated as of this day in mass protests and rallies at the Regenza Square in the capital city of Prague, pushing for a resignation of the current government and a complete shake-up in how it handles current crises, such as inflation and the country's position on the Russo-Ukrainian War. Thrown around some groups are pushes for the country to resign from NATO and to lessen its focus on sending aid to Ukraine in favor of focusing on Czechians back home. In other news, an attack by armed bandits at a village in Runji, Nigeria has left 33 dead, and Europe's new largest nuclear power plant, the Olkiluoto nuclear power plant in Finland, has finally been completed and is now in full operation after 18 years of construction and 14 years of delay. It is able to output 1.6 gigawatts in power.